Hey!
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube channel. Thank you all so much for stopping by. Buckle up, nerds, because this is going to be one long video. Now, before I get into Ort and why he basically solos 99.9% of all anime fiction, whatever it could possibly ever be, I do want to give a huge shout out to my homie Solomon. Solomon is the whole entire reason why I can even make this video, so all the credits and everything that I'm providing, the scans, all go to him. Well, I guess all the credit goes to him because he is the one that helped me. He's the reason why I can even make Fate videos. So again, Solomon, thank you again so much, and I'm gonna make you proud with this video, homie. So with that being said, if you guys could drop a like on the video, comment down below what you think, and honestly, it would help out a ton. And you know, the more likes this video gets, the more Fate videos that will come out in the future. All right, well, time to crack open a cold one, I guess. Ort is a being with no vital points. All organs for Ort are the same value, or have the same value. Even an atom of Ort holds the same existence as the full body of Ort. Ort lacks biological death, and it exists as a phenomenon. Any part of Ort's body contains all of its functionalities, meaning whether or not you destroy its heart, head, or any part of its body, or even a thought, it's kind of like a fundamental part of its existence, and it will continue to stay alive, because if there's no body part that supersedes another body part, then it's just fundamentally part of its existence. As such, it can regenerate from the destruction of just about all of its body parts and resume activity without any limit. A 2-star servant, or as stated in Fate Stay Night anime, a servant weaker than normal servants is capable of defying space-time, which is inferior to a normal servant. Remember that? Remember when he was fighting Saber? Yeah, wild, right? If a normal servant is meant to fight a person, grand servants are made to fight the world, and the presence and aura of a grand servant can immobilize a normal servant, and normal servants can't even scratch a grand servant. So the question you might be asking right now is, why is this even important? Well, this is the reason why. Olga Mary was strong enough to take down all 7 grand servants at once, and even with her being weakened, she was still no joke at all. She still had a stellar class Saint Graph, which is a higher than any type of servant, or higher than most beasts you could possibly fathom. So if you read Lost Belt 7, you know just how overpowered she is. However, she can one-shot anything, right? Well, again, you would be wrong, because just after weakening up Ort could fatally injure Olga Mary with this radiation alone. Ort has control over gravity, so just by waking up in its most weakened state, Ort makes Chaldea's measurement instruments go absolutely haywire, jumping from satellite class threat instantly to stellar class threat, which denotes for star level classes threats surpassing Godia, whose second class planet level threat was Draco's, who was a first class planet level threat. When Ort has resumed its activity from jumping to stellar class, it rewrote the entire Lost Belt, every texture from its lowest to highest point, and caused fantasy trees readings themselves to jump immeasurably. Also, by the way, it's got passive reality warping, and we all know how powerful and high scale textures are. I mean, refer to my cosmology video. Textures being rewritten like it's nothing is a huge fucking feat, and to passively warp all of reality, bro. At the point when it starts moving, it surpasses its previous readings of stellar class, and it becomes even stronger, further surpassing that gap between it. It eventually grows even so strong that it's even stronger than most of the Fate Grand Order villains. You know, characters like Amaterasu, Safer, Tiamat. Ort surpasses all of them as early as Blue Ort. At this state of Ort, Da Vinci hypothesizes that it can wipe out Chaldea, which would take just as much output energy as it would take to destroy the Earth, and would result in the Lost Belts, human history, and all of mankind to be wiped out, shattering 40% of the Earth. Servants that are beaten by Ort cannot be summoned again. Yeah, fuck you, Ort. LB7 was a bitch because of that. It already surpassed motherfuckers like Godia, Zeus, Draco, Morgan, God Juna, and so on. Even safer, since Zeus fused with the machine gods, and his power could tie with Saber himself, or herself, itself, whatever the fuck that thing is. 2025, I'm not judging. Moving on to higher dimensionality right now, I guess kind of quickly, is that, well, higher dimensionality in the Nasuverse is basic reality over transcendence, or reality over fiction, however you want to call it. Written in the Fate Extra explains how higher dimensions and lower dimensions are a part of the Nasuverse, or I guess how they work. She explains it by saying that from the perspective of a higher dimensional being, the lower dimension will look like a book, or basically fictional. In Extra, when BB gained a higher dimensional perspective, she became capable of viewing all of linear time and all of the multiverse within the moon cell as a book, and she could see the entire past, present, and future of lower dimensions. Consequently, this is furthermore consistent when Kiara and Tsukihime gained higher dimensional senses. She became ontologically superior to anyone in that specific dimension, already establishing a hierarchy. She became omnipotent with the dimension, but later on she gives up this higher dimensional since she got bullied by the other dimensional beings as she was inferior to them. But this was only because she still had a lower dimensional body, which means that the Throne of Heroes is also a higher dimensional existence, or it has something with reality is greater than fiction, transcendence. Crazy, huh? Throne of Heroes, mad OP, high scale. I'm not surprised. Furthermore, the Throne of Heroes exists in the inner sea, hence it's already a high 1T structure. By this, we would be able to confirm that if Ort simply destroyed or absorbed the servant, then a new clone of the original, then it could be made or summoned as a servant. But any servant Ort defeated becomes completely unsummonable, but he did not just destroy it, the true heroic spirit, either. He actually tampered with the Throne of Heroes and tampered its connection with the world. Or I guess you could say he absorbed the entire data of the servant, which would make the servant's data blank, which would also mean he has access to the Throne of Heroes, which is a high dimensional feat. So now here's the thing with Ort, right? Ort just doesn't destroy data. He absorbs data. He absorbs everything. That is why during the raid battle, he can use many different types of attacks with different elements and freely change his class 100,000 times with no issue. Long story short, Ort can just fucking eat anything and absorb anything because fuck you, that's why. I mean, he is OP for a reason. Ort has Immortality Negation type 9, Information Manipulation type 1, and Conceptual Manipulation type 1 as well. It does all of this without even having its full power. Having had its heart removed from it and even lost spell Ort at full power is not comparable to the original Ort. That's kind of insane. And this was reinforced by Scion stating it's inferior to proper human history and output and destructive capability. But at this point in time, not even the proper human history Ort has displayed its true destructive capabilities. Keep that in mind though. Furthermore, it's nerfed as the core it's using is YOOOO's that can't sustain it. Hence, its use created energy from its own lives and it was still this strong. Through the use of Exalaba, he turned every single plant in the Lost Belt into a genuine fantasy tree, which has enough prowesses to save the lost world and defy the whole entire counter force. That in and right there is a crazy fucking feat to do. It's also stated that Ort made 1,000s of fantasy, or 1,000s. He made thousands of fantasy trees this way, and YOOOO stated that she can't even make one. It might be stated that a single fantasy tree has galaxies of the Nasuverse worth of power inside them. Oh, Nasuverse isn't even solar system level. Are you stupid? It broke through Ereshigal Altar's 1,000 Gugalana legs. Ereshigal Altar is stated to be the strongest altar servant, being stronger than Arjuna Altar, who was the Lost Belt king, and he could end the world with one noble phantasm. 1,000-legged Gugalanas that Ereshigal had was stronger than the original Gugalana, which took the combined efforts of the alive Gilgamesh and Enkidu to defeat them. Ort, on the other hand, just said fuck you and broke through it. Ort also completely vaporized Ereshigal Altar with one attack. When its spider-like body is destroyed by Ereshigal Altar's full might or full power, it is revealed that its main body is the UFO! Ereshigal Altar never had a chance because it's a planet eater that can't be defeated by anything that is native to the Earth. Oh yeah, also I forgot to mention that Ort eats other celestial bodies, but more precisely the dead celestial bodies. Long story short, it just basically eats all the Nasuverse planets. It resumes activity once more, releasing more of its destructive capabilities, moving onto a galactic scale and manifesting what is referred to as the thunder clouds of the galaxy. The galactic supercell with its internal temperature jumping from 10,000 degrees to 1,000,000 degrees, and it just keeps going up and up, which instantly evaporates a Reshigo altar. And it keeps moving on in pursuit of its heart. Alright, so who's getting fucking bodied next? Goku? I mean, of course Goku's getting fucking bodied. Jokes aside though, Tenno Kalitian, I'm calling this person Tenno because I can't, these words are so difficult for me. Tenno attempts to defend against it for her city, and she gets victimized too. Tenno was an overpowered servant in that Lost Belt, who was stated to be unstoppable until Nidocris Alter, who used the power of Anubis. By the way, Nidocris Alter, fucking badass design. I really, really like it. I have to say it. I have to say it. I didn't get her when I rolled, but I really want her. Yet, even while using her Gundam type weapon, taken from her city, which further empowers her, she could barely hold back Ort for even a few seconds. And Ort wasn't even attacking. That's the crazy thing. Benny Alter and King Protea attempted to defend against it as well, with Benny Enma Alter using the same technique as King Hassan, that which inserts the concept of death into its opponents. She states she learned this from him, and the same technique that nerfed Tiamat from the Beast class container to the Servant class container. It doesn't destroy it, and it does no damage to its body. All it manages to do is temporarily erase the Galactus supercell, all for Ort to just manifest itself once again. Oh yeah, and then King Protea Alter and then Benny Alter also die right after, so I guess when Chaldea uses Ray Proof to try destroying it, it changes the direction of the blast, making it miss. An attack from the imaginary number space, while it was further powered by Excalibur, was shot at Ort, yet Ort has vector manipulation, to an extent of course, that he could even deflect that level of an attack. Then YOOOO Mary used her authority to stop time and even had to sacrifice herself to use the final attack powered by the imaginary number space blast and Excalibur as well. This was all just to destroy Ort's body. She also stated that if time wasn't stopped, Ort would regenerate faster than the attack could erase him, so that speaks of his regeneration speed. So Ort already can be considered higher dimensional, plus tanking an attack from a place without space or whatever is quite insane. Ort's vector manipulation though, I mean, I'm biased, it's not as good as accelerators. Okay, I'm just kidding, it's way better than accelerators. Ort has high godly regeneration. At this point, it remakes its entire spider-like body once again with greater but better body parts and a new concept itself. So I guess the regeneration would be considered high godly, but I guess on top of that, it would be at a speed of immeasurable speed. YOOOO Mary uses one of her super authorities to force all of Chaldea into moving faster than time to keep up with it, to try and supersede Ort's regeneration time, which is revealed that you can only do this by moving so faster, well I guess way faster than time, because attempting to supersede Ort's regeneration in normal time is just impossible. So yeah, if your speed isn't faster than time, your attacks aren't even doing anything at all, and time manipulation won't even work on Ort, so bad luck for anybody who always relies on fucking time manipulation or immeasurable speed. YOOOO sacrifices herself using the last of her power to destroy Ort, which results in her dying. Aww. T'Pau has mystic eyes of death perception, which negates any and all forms of immortalities and sends the soul to the root, causing it to disperse there. It should eradicate one completely, except Ort just tanks this and respawns. Ort could actually understand the Throne of Heroes mechanism, as he had made at least an alternate 50,000 years of history in a different world, which depicts him as a hero that would also be accessible to the Throne of Heroes, which is linked and then turned himself into a servant. While this wouldn't let him have a feat of tampering with the Throne of Heroes, the next feat will though. Ort turned himself into a Grand Servant right off the bat, which only the Counterforce can decide. But here the Counterforce was against Ort, and Ort still did it. Normally Grand Extra classes should be impossible to summon or even exist, yet Ort became a Grand Foreigner. Furthermore, when a creature is made into a servant, the Saint Graph is reduced from the Throne of Heroes to be in a host. Yet Ort defies that and keeps his stellar class Saint Graph. Right there, that's at least 5 feats of Ort tampering and accessing the Throne of Heroes and even understanding it. This is even further proven that he has a higher dimensional understanding. The Throne of Heroes or Outer Gods both exist in higher dimensions, and it's even stated that trying to understand the higher dimension will lead to their brain exploding, give or take, or them ascending to a state, so Ort is just by default at this point a higher dimensional existence. Technically we'll get into a beyond dimensional existence later, but he does have a beyond dimensional existence. There was a hypothesis that Or could have even created its own version of the Throne of Heroes, so that also puts him in a higher dimensional category. But again, this heightens the scale of his feat massively. At this point, its destructive capabilities drop significantly to average stellar class again while using solar storms as its way to attack its opponents. Or it has godly durability negation. Crystal Valley ignores conventional durability, and it can crystallize anything passively that appears to be close to Ort's proximity, or even coming in contact with it. Even after Kukulkan used her authority at the Lost Belt King and destroyed the Servant Ort could easily resummon itself, proving he at least has an original in the Throne of Heroes. So Ort is technically by that default a heroic spirit, or has a heroic spirit level. Later, Kukulkan had to destroy the catalyst Ort used, which was his heart, aka the sun, to stop Ort from resummoning. Tez did state that Kama was the strongest guy at this point, and this one was weaker than the Prime Kamazots, and even the Prime Kamazots knew that he had no chance against Ort. So he simply used a focused spear attack on Ort's core while being erased away again and again, using his imprehensibility to hopefully rip the core out. Then again, the feat was questionable because Tez states that the only reason Ort became inactive was because it was fooled by Mala and it lacked energy to resume activity. I don't know. I don't know. It's kind of whatever. Still needed to be added into the video though. It is said that when it's landed on Mictlan, it went crazy and destroyed the location once, but the Cayenne warriors modified their strategy to make the entity unkillable, defeating it without killing it because it literally cannot die. Ort fused with the fantasy tree and gained its functions, which was seen with YOOOO Mary. This allows for matter manipulation, fate manipulation, reality warping, law manipulation, space-time manipulation, and so forth. They're also capable to maintain the existence of the Lost Belt, which has parallel universes that exist outside of proper human history. Even the Lost Belt seeds are servant level, and Ort generated trillions of Lost Belt trees, which would generate quadrillions of Lost Belt tree seeds. When Tez uses his Noble Phantasm to exchange events of the Lost Belt and slid into the future events into the present, that blew my fucking mind. I ain't gonna lie, that kind of low-key blew my mind. It displays how Ort will destroy the Lost Belt and move on to destroy the entire planet, human, order, parallel worlds, Throne of Heroes, higher dimensions, alike where the gods exist and live. So it destroys the celestial body, Avalon, the inner city, Gaia, Alia, and it shatters the counterforce, destroys all textures, and even the celestial body itself, putting a permanent, definite end to Earth, the celestial body itself. Do you guys know what this truly means? Like, dead ass, take a step back. Like, I said a lot in like these minutes or however long this video has been going on. Do you guys remember where we scaled all of these in the Nasuverse cosmology video? Again, going off that and what Ort has done, I don't think you guys truly understand the power level of where Ort is at. Ort can turn any offensive effects and make them buffs. Ort can also manipulate death. Death probability changed to 0. Oh yeah, on top of that too, Ort has durability negation, power nullification, sealing, and self-recovery. Ort has the power to counter all forms of reality warping and reality rewriting. For example, even Arcuate's marble phantasm, I don't know why the fuck I started, I'm fucking retarded. This nullifies Akko's change or even the marble phantasm, and anything that changes on the battlefield. Ort has the power to absorb any and all offensive and defensive effects, so your power-ups are not yours anymore. So goodbye. If you're using more buff skills like Ainz or Naofumi or any type of dumb fucking isekai character that becomes OP for no reason, yeah, you're fucking dead. Hey, ain't no chance you ever be an Ort. Copies any and all abilities or skills used against it or even before it. So in this situation, I would love to see you put somebody like Rimuru against Ort. He will steal all the Haxes that Rimuru has. Beelzebub, all that shit gets fucking copied. It's fucking great. Oh yeah, I almost forgot. It actually amplifies any power used to it while copying it. So the attack you just used will be used against you, but in Ort's power level. Ort in proper human history is thought as the toughest creature and equally most inexplicable creature to ever exist in the world of Magecraft, because it's a fucking monster that supersedes YOOOO Mary. It also maintains its ability to passively warp reality using the Crystal Valley. It is said that if YOOOO Mary was to merge with Ort, not even the weapon that Chaldea modeled using the unsealed holy sword of proper human history that repels threats to humanity would phase her, which was confirmed to suppress even the original unsealed Excalibur. Holy shit! Ort was then said to be a threat that suppresses any threat that has ever occurred on Earth, including that of GOKU Gotia, Uogomeri, and even the outer gods alike. Or it has passive reality warping and law manipulation. It possesses an ability similar but on an entirely different scale to that of reality marbles, that being the Crystal Valley, capable of rewriting its surroundings to that of the reality from its respective planet by simply existing, going as far as to even rewrite the planet's physical laws, something akin to painting the world into an alien planet. So kind of like terraforming. It is said that if it was to awaken, it would destroy the world with everyone else who is currently in that world from the timeline of Fate Strange Fake, which even the soul of the planet still exists, and even unlike all of the angel notes that it does have there. Even Zeltrex rewrote the timeline for it not to awaken, but stating it's a century too early to fight it. Or is an ultimate one, and probably the strongest among them. It is said to wield attack parameters and power beyond anything else within the Nasuverse, even one-shotting dead apostle ancestors in seconds, and it is said to have no weaknesses whatsoever. Ort apparently landed in South America before the Common Era. The former 5th ancestor attempted to capture it and was killed in seconds. Afterwards, the ancestor had vampiric-like properties. It's also said that as long as the battleground is Earth, it has no weaknesses. In addition to the ridiculously high attack parameters of the main body, Ort has resistance to information manipulation type 1 and type 2. It has conceptual manipulations type 1, 2, and 3. It has death manipulation, and it is immune to the mystic eyes of death perception. Ort is renowned for its ability to kill effectively, just like the primate murder, sometimes instantly killing anyone that comes into contact with it. It is said once it attacks lands, it instantly wins and kills its target. So if it just touches you, if it touches your leg, you're dead. Ort is also so strong, it's stronger than the final boss of type Moon, aka the Crimson Moon. Again, it's stated that Arcuade cannot stop Ort. It has innate mysterious capabilities, or it has mysterious capacity to always achieve the impossible, which is fucking insane. The spiral-like body of Ort has impurities that stem from the blood it sucks. It's still possible to defeat it, however, but when it comes to the UFO, all damage taken from its main body is reduced to 0. It's possible to attack the tentacles just to stall for time, but like this gives Ort subjective reality manipulation and invulnerability. Damage taken to it is reduced to 0 on the UFO, and that honestly, you're not touching it. Ort is stated to be the single strongest being in type Moon, and is stated to be the greatest enemy that the Chaldea has ever faced. Remember how I stated that the spider body regenerates impurities and how the UFO body would take or have all damage reduced to 0? The spider body is stated to be scraps of smaller discs that fell off and was created so in a neutral setting. So Ort won't have a spider body, and it will look kind of like the picture, I guess like the design you're seeing right here in the middle of the screen. This picture here demonstrates Ort's stores from which it was not like the luminary but in totality, but is similar in that this form is Ort without the body and is pure light in the mostly intangible. This form is achieved when the entire outer shell of Ort, including the UFO, is destroyed, hence the life after death form in the sense of a video game. So if you manage to somehow destroy it anyways, it's just gonna become luminary. It's just gonna have like a luminary form, and it like remakes itself instantaneously. Durability negation, immortality negation, probability manipulation negation, defense negation. Ort wins just by touching something. It will kill or destroy anything with contact. If you try to catch Ort off guard, that's not working either. It fires off 1 trillion degree fireball projectiles coated in low temperature coating so that the impact cannot be absorbed on impact, and only the coating disperses, making the trillion degree projectile attack the target with full force. Now in this state, Ort's core temperature is about 1 trillion degrees Celsius, and other than the 1 trillion degree projectiles, it also uses a giant blast of concentrated heat released at 1 trillion degrees Celsius. This was just the basics for Ort too, by the way. We're not even close to being done yet. Are you guys surprised? Because we still got a lot more shit to go over. There are some old scans, but they're still relevant to Ort. But most importantly, there is no other threat that could ever surpass Ort. Now listen, just in case someone in the comments says, well, Tiamat or someone else can do this and that, well, here are 5 more different representations and examples of Ort being called the strongest being in all of Nasuverse in 5 different time periods. Now listen guys, you need to understand what Ort truly is. As far as Ort goes, it's considered to be a true magic user. So if someone in Nasu is a true magic user, that grants them a bunch of Haxes. Ort is not only a true magic user, but also an ultimate one, a heroic spirit in one form and a dead apostle and a true ancestor in another. Remember guys, true magic comes directly from reaching the root. Although it's specified that you don't have to touch the root because it's an equivalent of getting yourself into an instant death and having your soul absorbed back into the root, it's possibly gained through being next to it and stabilizing your magecraft as it's not specified. True magic, or sorcery is regarded as mystery beyond magecraft and can create miracles and make the impossible possible. It's also symbolic in a sense that, well, if it comes from the root, it can make the impossible possible, while the root itself, merely seeing it, touching it, or understanding it is enough to make every impossible possible, or even redefine the word impossible. True magic transcends mystery itself. It exists outside of human knowledge and the world, and it is deeply rooted in divine providence beyond the heavens. Presumably beyond the heavens is referable to the root. Heroic spirits are unbound from the concept of time. It's in their nature of existence to be unbound from time and space and separated from the time axis. They are rendered immune from changes in the past and future and only exist and are summoned in the present. Servants are divine mysteries that are invulnerable to modern weapons like guns and knives because they are spirit. Only a servant can hurt another servant with a gun or a weapon. He has type 9 immortality, as servants' true forms exist inside the throne of heroes. He has limited resistance to physics manipulation. Servants can eat souls to get stronger. Servants normally exist as spirits, but they can transition between material bodies and spirit form. The latter turns them into spirits. Incorporeality is just another way of saying that. Heroic spirits or servants, noble phantasms, do not change over time, but their basic abilities do change over time for the better. If more people worship or if less people worship over time, just like gods. The more famous you are in a country that you currently inhabit as a servant, the more powerful you will grow. Similarly, if you're not famous in that same country, you will grow less powerful. Noble phantasms particularly surpass human intellect. It is for this reason that they are considered divine mystery. Vampires also have the mystic eyes, kind of like the dead apostles, which can erase your memories and brainwash you with only eye contact. They can scatter the particles that make up their bodies to turn them into mist or something similar to that. True ancestors can rewrite phenomena. Ort is categorized as a true ancestor in the El Malloy case file. True ancestors can turn into their luminary form, which can manipulate the perception of intelligent beings. In their luminary true form, ancestors speak telepathically, so he also has telepathy. Unmanifested heroic spirits are just concepts, which manifest through spiritual bodies when summoned, giving them an abstract existence type 2. Although in essence, the archetype predates all life on the planet, its vessel that it uses to manifest further is something that comes after. Long story short, at the beginning, it's just non-corporeal. The species that persist in the planet, the dominant ones at that, is what gives shape to the world egg. But this is done through the supposition that the image of the archetype created by Teen is the same primeval image of species itself and the finality of the species essence. This is also identified as the ultimate one of the planet, albeit the ultimate one is the final evolution of the archetype, which forms the shape of itself independent of the planet's species. The lines of death for the planet are said to be akin to emptiness, but not like that matters at all. But she can store something as fundamental as the lines of death in her event storage, something that represents the metaphysical principle, which connects the world to the created with the ultimate reality, the root. Memories of the planet are extensions of its soul, which is beyond countless beginnings, reaches the universe, human observation, and the endless ever-extending reach of mankind. They exist as dreams and memories of the planet as outlined here and elaborated upon. The soul in itself is the cemetery of a star, from which everything comes from and returns back to. The entity is so perfect that Tono can't kill it. However, a single scratch is enough to stop the luminary. This paradox occurs because as a consequence of the very perfection, a scratch causes the entity to lose its intrinsic worth. This vulnerability is only possible because Roa merged his self with Calvaria, using Arcuate's power and the fresh pain of having been killed by her. These combined factors serve to counteract her luminary dequantification, which otherwise would not have allowed the luminary to have ended. This is even more proof of type 8 and type 9 immortality. As the planet's soul, Arcuate's individuality has its causes of death nullified, effectively making her impervious to death and causing her lines of death to dissipate. Obviously, Obviously, Ort has type 5 immortality, type 9 immortality, but type 5a causality. The planet's soul is inherently endowed, and the luminary is a perfect life form that manifests this soul. It cannot be moved or changed by any alteration, such as to its appearance or fine-tuning. It only affects the manifestation, not the consciousness deep within the planet's soul. Consequently, in a metaphysical sense, she is not an individual or a particularity, but rather a system. This is why she cannot strictly be characterized by being alive. Simultaneously, she cannot assume qualities tied to particularity, such as senseless obsessions, emotions, or even moving, as doing so continuously degrades her life form back to the state of particularity. This degradation adds flaws to its perfection, which eventually weakens the luminary until it self-destructs from deviating from its initial essential nature. Now we need to go back over the Ultimate One's physiology. They have superhuman physical characteristics, which gives them a beyond dimensional physiology. Again, should exist beyond dimensionless realms like the Throne of Heroes. They have an abstract existence, type 2, as it exists and embodies the planet's will. True ancestors are fundamentally a natural phenomena. However, unlike divine spirits, not a phenomenon affected by the collective unconscious, as such that they fundamentally lack even autonomy. Oh, also they can manifest in physical forms and vessels, giving them avatar creation. Now these next scans I already talked about in the Nasuverse cosmology video, but I'm not going to repeat every single scan, so go watch that video. However, for the sake of this video, I will explain it a little bit, so enjoy whatever's on the screen while listening to my soothing voice. Ort once again has type 9 immortality, as he lacks the concept of death and has both physical vessels and true natures. An Ultimate One can return from a physical form to another even if it was absolutely destroyed. He has high godly regeneration. He has transduality, as well he should exist beyond the realms such as the imaginary number space, which stores up the conceivable dualistic concepts such as any dimensional perception. And here's even more proof of acausality type 5. Since this video is already super long, I'm going to show you a screenshot of more things Ort has, and I highly suggest you pause the video. Yes, I am also very lazy. Fuck off. I mean, we can't forget about Ort's one-hit kill. Anything that he touches or anything he comes into contact with will instantly die to the highest degree. It doesn't matter what immortality you have, you will die. Again, since this video is already so long, I'm going to show you the list or a screenshot of all the Haxes Ort had. The Ultimate Ones are the pillar's consciousness and the will of the celestial bodies, as well as the strongest beings in them, being superior over everything and everyone else within to the level that even their physical manifestations are much more superior. They represent an archetypal, quintessential origin of the many structures of the cosmos, superseding any possible iteration of the greater self within it, and should equally exist on a greater ontological level compared to all of existence, transcending even the true ancestors and the divine spirits the same way they transcended the very cosmos, which includes the universal, never-ending hierarchy of conceptual transcendence, where even in the lowest plane of existence encompasses every possible conception, timeline, dimensions, and even the logical and illogical contradictions that trivialize by their incomprehensible, endless, and absolute pure existence as origin. So now, with everything that is being said, let me show you a screenshot of every single Hax and resistance Ort has. These are all the Haxes Ort has, and look at this shit. These are all like, like, what in the fuck is any character going to do against Ort? Dead ass. That's right. Pause the video. Read everything. Take the time to read every single Hax. Let me say something. Let me tell you this, guys. There is not one character that I can think of that could beat Ort. The one that I could think of. Maybe there is one, because there is like a 0.00001% character. Maybe there is one. I cannot think of someone who out-Haxes him to this degree. But now let's talk about his resistances. Alrighty, here we go. And look at all of these resistances. Oh my fucking god. Nasu, what the fuck did you create? Yeah, I really don't care what you guys say. Ort is without a doubt one of the strongest characters in fiction. Scaling Ort at the level of feathering and what the Haxes too is something that I also have thought of, and people have asked me who is stronger. In my opinion, it could go either way. It could either be Ort could beat feathering could possibly be Ort could be tied. It could go like a multitude of different ways depending on the person. In my opinion, given everything that I went over with both characters, I would say, in my opinion, guys, Ort is stronger than feathering and will take it 7 out of 10 times against feathering, maybe 6 out of 10 times. But in any case, good luck beating Ort. I don't think there's a a character in fiction that could realistically beat Ort. And that just shows you the level of power that all the heroic spirits and the divine servants have in this series too. But you know, Nasu is just one of the best series ever created, way better than One Piece. So with that being said, guys, I hope you all enjoy the video. It did take me a while. Thank you again, Solomon. You are the fucking best for helping me out. And until next time, peace.